Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's show. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next half hour or so. It's how my days, man. For the next hour or so, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. David John Oates is going to be with us to talk about reverse speech. He's done some interesting research, and I think you guys are gonna find it interesting. Yeah. Anyway, I'm the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of Sacramento, California. You will find us at californiahaunts.org, or you can check out the radio site at californiahauntsradio.com. I want to apologize to Mr. Oates. We had some time confusion when we scheduled this, and yeah. Anyway, it happens. It's radio, guys. Live radio, it happens. Anyway, we are 45 strong up and down the state of California, and that means if you have a paranormal problem or you think you have a paranormal problem, it's not a problem, right? Because we can get to you. You know, even if we're 2 or 3 counties away, we can get to you. But we're not only located in California, we're located in Nevada, Washington, Oregon, and Hawaii. So we have people everywhere. I mean, that because Hawaiian haunts, but obviously not California haunts. Anyway, I want to welcome you all here. It's cooling down a little bit. It was a whole 95 today. So it got cool, you know? But this reverse speech thing fascinates me because it goes back. I'm not old enough, honestly, okay? Honestly. I'm old, but I'm not old enough to remember the Beatles. I remember my sisters and brothers listening to the Beatles' White Album and all that. But there was a big to-do about the Beatles' White Album that there were hidden messages in there. And so some people were playing them backwards, and then some people were playing them with reel-to-reel tape recorders and stuff. Because back then they had these huge things called reel-to-reel tape recorders, and they were playing them, you know. And so there were supposed to be hidden messages in there from the Beatles, and it was very interesting. And so the gentleman I'm having on tonight, he has designed his own way of doing this to go through reverse speech. But he not only has done that, but he has recorded interviews of ministers from all over the United States and run them in reverse. And I think I want to let him tell you what the results were that he got from that, because the results are very interesting. It's not what you expect at all. So let me see if I can get him in here with audio at least. Hello, sir.
Hello, I'm here. I don't know
Hi.
why it's not accepting my camera. Every time I turn the camera on, the whole thing shuts down. So
That's okay. I apologize, because we were talking about times, and you had wanted 11 a.m. or 11 a.m. your time.
That's all right. No worries. No, I'm in the state of South Australia, which is a half an hour behind Sydney, which is where most people sort of.
Well, then I set it for 6:30, and then I thought, oh my God, it should have been for 6. So then I reset it.
No worries.
I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. Tell me about you. I want to know about you, because I do work, as a paranormal investigator. Plus, I went to recording studio and engineer classes and all that. So I know a little bit about working with audio software. But tell me about what you do and how you got into doing this.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been doing reverse speech for 40 years now, so it's my full-time career. I am old enough to remember the Beatles. There you go. I'm giving my age away, and I can remember back in the teenage years when there was supposedly hidden messages in Beatles records, and turning the records back on my turntable to see if I could hear those hidden backward messages. And yeah, I heard them. They were pretty freaky, pretty creepy stuff back in those days. So, but I really didn't get started until about 83. I was running a halfway house for street kids in Australia, and they were telling me about backward messages in rock and roll, and if you played the records backwards, you could hear these satanic messages. And I'm sort of thinking, oh yeah, all right. But anyway, I'm an electronics buff. I'm a ham radio operator. I've been involved in audio all my life, and I went back and played some of these records backwards, expecting to hear nothing but gibberish. And to my surprise, I started hearing intelligent phrases backwards in these records. Here, let me play you one to set the scene. Okay,
Okay.
this is a song from Creedence Clearwater Revival,
Okay.
and here it is. We'll play it forwards first. Oops, hang on, where did it go? Okay, here we go.
It was down in Louisiana, just about a mile from Texarkana, in them old cotton fields back home.
We play it backwards, and he sings in reverse. I believe in my cool woman.
I believe in that cool woman.
Wow.
I believe in that cool woman.
You hear that?
I hear that. Whoa.
And that's straight backwards. And so I was a little bit stunned. I wasn't really expecting to hear for anything. The first thing I checked for was manipulation. The tapes obviously being altered, but it hadn't. It was purely the backward message was occurring purely by the way the song was sung forwards. So then I looked at music on and off for a couple of years. My life sort of took over. I got involved in other stuff. And then in 87, I got back to it again full time. And then I found my very first example in normal human speech. And this is the very first example ever found in spoken speech, not music. And it's Neil Armstrong walking on the moon.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And backwards he says, man will spacewalk.
Man will spacewalk.
Wow.
Man will spacewalk.
You hear that one okay?
Yes.
So that was sort of a real shocker for me. He's saying spacewalk backwards and allegedly walking on the moon forwards, it was really quite a shock to me to hear an intelligent phrase like that. So then I started researching speech solely. In April of 87, I wrote my theory. I called it the theory of reverse speech, or speech complementarity. And the theory basically states that language is bi-level, forwards as well as backwards. As all of us are creating the sounds of our speech, we're created in such a way that we're saying two things at once, one forwards and one backwards. And this is a natural function of the human mind, or at least according to my theory anyway. So, and then I got involved then I, started traveling the world, lecturing and teaching and doing radio shows. And here I am 40 years later, still doing the same thing. So, yeah.
Do you think these things are coming from their subconscious, or how's that working?
Yeah, I say the unconscious to get it accepted. It's certainly part of the mind that is not speaking forwards. I actually believe it is the spirit itself speaking backwards. It is the voice of our spirit that dwells within, and I've got so many examples to show that. Here, let me play one.
Okay.
This is a man who's having financial problems, and he's talking to his computer, looking for answers.
Does it further for us to put more energy and money and effort?
We play it backwards, and he says, "You're frightened. Lean on me."
You're frightened. Lean on me.
You're frightened. Lean on me.
And so that is his spirit talking to him, saying, "Look, I know you're frightened. I know you're scared. Just lean on me. Trust in me."
Wow.
And yeah, so it's more than the unconscious speaking. Yes, part of it is the unconscious, but at the deeper levels, it gets down to the spirit and who we are as people and why we're here, and that's quite amazing. So, yeah. And then, of course, you asked about the churches, which is my latest book. So I every year I do a research project, and in the past I've done COVID, I've done JFK assassination, I've done the moon landings. Each year I do one project, and last year it was the churches and religious leaders to see what I could find on them. And to say I was shocked was a bit of an understatement of the year. Here is one man. This is a chap named Reverend Mike Dorhauer, and he's head of the Church of Christ in America, and he's talking about the George Floyd killing.
See yourselves in this metaphor as the lion. If you are white, the predator, and become active agents of God's shalom in the dismantling of white power, white privilege, and white supremacy.
I was getting quite straightforward in his forward speech, but backwards he says, "I am Satan."
I am Satan.
I am Satan.
Wow.
I am Satan.
So there you go. How do you react to that? Hey, that's quite a damning reversal to have on a religious leader, and then we have Reverend Harvey, the head of the. Oh no, wrong one. Sorry, no, I had the wrong one there. I know what I'll do. I'll shock you all by playing some reversals on the Pope. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. My apologies, any Roman Catholics out there. All I'm doing is quoting the reversals that I have found. How graphic can I get on this show?
You can go graphic.
Okay, all right. Well, then let's start off. Slowly. Where's the one I'm looking for? Pope. Here's the Pope. There's one I want to look for. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's one I want to start off with. Okay, so here's the Pope addressing Congress in 2015, I believe.
That many of them are retired, but still active. They keep working to build up this land.
Here he says, "My Satan is bad. Live with me."
Live with me.
Oh, my Satan's bad. Live with me. So I'll do it again.
Live with me.
Live with me. Live with me.
That doesn't sound very good.
Mhm.
And then we hear this one here. This is the coup de grace, Ramon.
We know that it's very difficult to judge the past by the criteria of the present.
And here he says, "I raped the other kids. Yum. Stop it. I raped the other kids. Yum. Stop it."
I rape the other kids. Stop it.
I rape the other kids. Stop it.
You hear that there?
Yes.
That's a really creepy reversal. He's struggling. He has internal struggles between sexual desires and not wanting to follow through with them. And but I raped the other kids is a fairly graphic statement. That's followed immediately by this reversal here.
Lincoln, liberty. Martin Luther King, liberty in plurality and non-exclusion.
And here he says, "Eat the holy cum."
Eat the holy cum.
Eat the holy ram. Eat the holy ram.
And that's pretty graphic. You can't get much more graphic than that. So yes, it was not good. The reversals I found on the Pope, to say the least. And I've released all of these reversals in a book called "The Great Spiritual Darkness." And actually, I've actually released 4 books this year so far.
Mhm.
All my books available for free download. I don't charge anyone for my books. Just go to my website, reversespeech.com. click onto the products page, and you'll see a list of all 14 of my books, and you can go and download and listen to the reversals, and yeah, so there you go.
How hard is it to analyze the speech, or just like what software? You don't have to tell me what software, but you know what I mean.
Well, we have our own software, a Reverse
Okay.
Speech Pro, that's specifically designed for reverse speech. There's other softwares that play backwards. Audacity is one, Goldwave is another. You know, I mean, I think our software is the best, but then I'm supposed to think that because I designed it. You know, but yeah, it's fairly easy to run tapes in reverse. There's a lot of software programs on the market that play recordings backwards. Like I said, ours is called Reverse Speech Pro. You can get that from our website at reversespeech.com. Well, there's plenty of others around there too. Yeah, let's move off. Churches for the time being,
Okay.
and I'll play you a shocking reversal. This is on Prince Andrew. Wonder if you can remember his disastrous interview he gave about 2 or 3 years ago about all the sexual allegations against him. Okay, so I want to play you a couple reversals from that interview. So here's the first one.
That you don't recall meeting Virginia Roberts, dining with her,
Yep.
dancing with her at Tramp, or
Yep.
going on to have sex with her
Yes,
in a bedroom in a house in Belgravia.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Okay, I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened. But backwards he says, you lusty fraud, you're fucked.
You lässt nicht förhållandevis. You lässt nicht förhållandevis. You lässt nicht förhållandevis.
You hear that one there?
Yeah.
So that's a straight out lie. He's a fraud, he's full of lust, and he's screwed. And he was screwed too. He had to pay, well, I think, £10 million, I think, in compensation when she was sued. And here he is talking about Jeffrey Epstein, who was found suicided in his cell, allegedly suicided.
Nobody can prove whether or not that photograph has been doctored, but I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
And backwards he says, Jeff, which is Jeffrey Epstein, Jeff had to get murdered.
Jeff Atney is murdered. Jeff Atney is murdered. Jeff Atney is murdered.
So here we see a confession to what I believe is a hit ordered on Jeffrey Epstein by Prince Andrew. And that's pretty damning evidence, pretty damning reversals. So yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And this is what reverse speech is all about. It's a revelation of the truth, who we really are at the deepest unconscious level. Yeah.
I'll have to watch what I say from here on in. Not that I can follow.
Yeah. Well, that's the implications of reverse speech. It's also one of the reasons why it's taken such a long time for reverse speech to be accepted. I mean, look, I've been public for 40 years now, you know, doing radio shows and TV appearances, hundreds, thousands of them over the years. Yet reverse speech has a long gestation period, and there's still only about a half a dozen practitioners of it around the world, which is very disappointing. Because its implications are so revolutionary. I mean, it essentially means there's no more secrets. Everything that is hidden within is now revealed, and that's stunning. That's stunning.
Do you think some of it too is that, you know, with technology the way it is, that people feel that you can manipulate it?
Reverse speech? Not that I'm aware of. Not yet. I don't think technology is sufficiently advanced enough to manipulate speech patterns. Certainly, there's nothing available right now. Whether there's something developed in the future, I don't know. Maybe it's possible. Computers can do pretty amazing things once you get into artificial intelligence. You know.
I'm just throwing it out there because I mean, you know, not me, but you know, there's doubting Thomases out there all over the place that will point at stuff like that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Look, like I said, I'm not aware of it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
So, have you gotten any reaction from the people that you've done this on?
No, I haven't. Bill Clinton once famously denied reverse speech in a press conference. This is back in the '90s when I was lived in America. I was actually very well known back in the '90s in the States, and I was doing a lot of reversals on Bill Clinton, finding sexual little innuendos and improprieties in his speech, and he was asked a question about it by a reporter on a news conference once. What do you think about all this reverse speech stuff? And he just laughed and said, "Oh, it's a load of rubbish." That was his reaction. But the very fact that he even commented and knew about it shows that I made an impression. So yeah,
Well, he was checking it out. He had to be.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, here. Let me play a couple of music ones on Bill Clinton, seeing we brought him up. Here he is just after the Monica Lewinsky scandals broke, and this is 2 weeks after the Monica Lewinsky scandals broke.
I mean, you all voted for the agreement now, and everything's basically going in the right direction.
And he says they're all boring me, Monica.
They're all voting you, Monica. They're all voting you, Monica. They're all voting you, Monica.
So you can see what was on his mind back in the day. I should play you some couple of funny ones on Joe Biden. Let's see if I can pull them up real quick. I got a lot on Joe Biden. He's a character. I've got a couple of really funny ones on him if I can pull them up real quick. Where are they? Can't see them at the top of my head. Oh, hang on. I know where they are. They're in this one.
Take your time. We're good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here's a funny one. Okay. This is all of Joe Biden's slip-ups. You know how he goes, he pauses and stutters. He has these famous gaffes. So here he's pausing and stammering over his lines.
No indication that's the case at all with regard to, there's a total of
okay, so you can see he's having trouble. And he says backwards, "Have I lost it?
Have I lost it? Have I lost it?
Have I lost it?" I'd say he has. He lost it a long, long time ago. Then we have a sort of an ominous reversal on Biden. Listen to this one.
One of the great gifts of the spirit of independence. And think about this. One of the great gifts is our capacity to see ourselves whole and see ourselves honestly.
And you're not safe. Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Is he predicting some ominous future? I don't know. But,
Something in the back of his mind. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And look what we're playing, Joe. Here's a rather one that'll raise eyebrows. He's at a kindergarten, right? And he's talking to the group of young kids.
For the ARPA funding.
And they all voted for it.
And also.
Okay, you'll screw a boy. I met you.
You'll screw a boy, I met you. You'll screw a boy, I met you. You'll screw a boy, I met you.
That doesn't sound very nice. Makes you wonder about Joe Biden's sexuality. Yeah.
So how do you decide who you're going to record?
Oh, well, okay. Well, let me answer that question 2 ways. For start, I have a full-time therapeutic practice where I use reverse speech with clients. So that occupies half of my time. The other half of time is spent doing radio shows and interviews, and who I decide to reverse is who's in the news at the day. What's the latest controversy going on? All the media reversals I find are purely for all my media appearances, radio and TV interviews, because that's what the general public's looking for. And yeah, it's whoever's in the news at the time. Although I'm now started my next research project, because I've just released my book on the evangelist. And my next research project is UFOs. So I'm right into reversing UFO contactees and the like right now. So that's my current project I'm working on. Yeah.
What have you found? I know it's the project you're working on, but so far, when you're when you're listening to these people that have been abducted, can you give me a hint of what you found?
Yeah, well, I can play you some.
Okay.
Yeah, I've found, surprisingly enough, a lot of these people are telling a true story. Like, let's take the classic example of Travis Walton, a well-known abduction case. Travis Walton uh, was abducted in the early 70s. He's traveled and lectured on it quite extensively. And here he is on the Joe Rogan show.
Well, these crystals are supposed to have very special properties for people who are into crystal stuff. But
what does that say there, Jamie? This is what happens. That's what.
Here he says, "I see the powerful ship.
I see the powerful ship. I see the powerful ship. I see the powerful ship."
So we assume from that he's telling a true story. The reversals tell us what really happened. And then we have some classic scams like, let me see, who will I pull up first? Corey Good, who's doing the rounds, talking about secret space missions and etc. like that. So here's a couple on Corey Good.
These ET groups, to avoid these cosmic laws, they'll incarnate as a human being, forget who and what they are, to go through the process of the genetic experiments that they're doing and not violate cosmic law.
And this one says, skill without con.
Skill without con. Skill without con. Skill without con.
So he's a con, is what that tells me. And there's another one. Oh yeah, here's another one that says he's doing a con.
And they basically restored who he was. The ET consciousness, they restored it. So he looks like Gonzalez, but he acts like a completely different person. He is not the same person.
He says, serve mess, the con's big.
Serve Mr. Hansley. Serve Mr. Hansley. Serve Mr. Hansley.
So he's one of the con men out there. There's a few of them out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to design the software?
Oh, to design the software? Oh, gee, I don't know. That was actually handled by my staff. About 6 months, I think. Yeah, about 6 months. It speeds up the process and makes it very, very fast. It's a lot easier to find reversals using the software. Yeah, so we're fairly happy with it. Yeah.
Now, with the ministers, because I remember seeing some stuff on that. How many ministers did you happen, or priests or whatever, did you happen to record?
I think there's probably about 30 in my book. Okay. Now, obviously, there's many more, tens of thousands of ministers than what I was able to record. So this is only a small cross section. And I do say in my book, I hope other people go out and do their own research. This is obviously only a very small sampling, Obviously, I don't have time to do thousands and thousands of ministers across the world, But the book paves the way, basically.
And you mentioned that you thought the Antichrist had been on Earth for a long time already.
Yes, I do. Well, see, oh boy, that gets into long, detailed theological discussion. Look, I have found Satan all throughout majority of ministers I've looked at. In the 30 I've looked at, I would say all of them except for 3 had all reversed about worshiping Satan. Back in the first century, the Apostle John wrote in his letters to the church, the Antichrist is already here. It is already in power. And I believe, and my book is subtitled The Antichrist Take Over the Modern Church, I believe the Antichrist is here now, living in the hearts and minds of our Christian leaders. They are worshipping him as though he was God, which is exactly what he wanted. it's not something yet to come, but something that is already here. Now, whether that manifests into an actual physical conflict on Earth, I don't know. But according to the research I've done, that Antichrist spirit is alive and well in a modern church. Yeah.
And it's because of the reverse speech, right? Because when you run this step backwards, there's those messages going on.
That's right. Yeah, it's reverse speech that has revealed this to me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I know you're not a doctor, but when somebody hears a speech and there's these subliminal message things going on backwards, is this the mind designed to like take that in, or how's that work? Do you know?
Yeah, good question. Reverse speech is a communication process. We are hearing the reversals of each other all the time and recognizing them as intuition. There's many occasions where I'll find entire conversations backwards in reverse, where questions are asked and answers are subsequently given. We've done electroencephalograph testing where we can see the brain actually responding to the reversals. So we know that we're hearing them. I believe it explains many aspects of human intuition. And it explains many other paranormal phenomena too that exist.
You know, I was wondering because when you play these things backwards, they honestly sound like a lot of the EVPs that paranormal investigators get.
Yeah, they sound very similar to EVPs. I guess by the title of your show, you've looked at EVPs.
Yes.
Let me play you then one of the creepiest EVPs I've ever heard. Okay. This is oh, of course you won't remember this. Way back in '74, there was a cult called Jonestown and Reverend Jim Jones, and he led his congregation to death by having them all drink Kool-Aid. Okay, so they've all drunk the Kool-Aid. Hang on, where's the EVP? Hang on, whoa. Oh, where is it? Should be in this file. Oh, here it is. Got it. Right. Okay. So so whilst I'm handing out the Kool-Aid, the whole thing was recorded. Then when everyone's dead, Jim Jones is dead, all you can hear is this eerie silence in the background. Okay. And amid this eerie silence, you'll hear a very low, unintelligible voice. So listen to this. You hear that voice in the background?
Yeah. Yes, I hear it.
Yeah. Well, I went and played it backwards. And when you play it backwards, it makes sense. It says, "Here's the door and Mr. Jim Jones, welcome." So it's used his name in full. "Here's the door and Mr. Jim Jones, welcome." I'll play it and I'll tell you what I think it is. Did you hear that? I'll play it again.
I heard that.
For those who missed it. Oh, no, sorry. Now. Here we go. Creepy reversal. I think it's Satan walking into the pits of hell. That's what I think it is. Very creepy EVP.
This makes me, like I said, this makes me wonder about EVPs now, because, like you say, this is like a second consciousness that we have. So what if, after we die, this is the second consciousness is what's surviving out there.
That's
and
right.
When we get these EVPs, that's what we're picking up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Reverse speech says that life is endless, that death is not the end; it's only the beginning. That's a common theme in reverse speech, and yeah, I believe EVPs are disembodied spirits talking. Yes, I do. Yeah, well, that's my belief. I can't prove it.
Right.
That's just my
But
belief.
I mean, these sound, when you play them backwards, this sounds like a lot of the EVPs that we get.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's the same type of thing. It's the unconscious or the spirit communicating, and it speaks in that melodic sing-song tone. It has the same sort of feel. Here, let me play you a reversal that's really that's obviously got that nice sing-song tone to it. Let me see which one I want to play. I want to play this one. This is from a normal. Oh, sorry, wrong one. This is from a normal everyday conversation. And here is the forwards.
This is just one of many, many lifetimes where we are here to develop the soul, basically. And when that is achieved, the soul will ascend.
This one says, I love each day.
I love each day.
I love each day. I love each day.
You hear that nice sing-song melodic
Yes.
tone to it?
Yes.
I love each day.
I love each day.
Here, listen, let me play the whole tape backwards forward, and you'll hear how it occurs amongst the gibberish. You'll hear the gibberish, then this really clear phrase, I love each day, then back to gibberish once again. So here we go.
الناس الواصل فيش تسيعدنا ما يلقي سيعب واصل I love each day.
You hear that just jumps up out of the gibberish
Yes,
there?
yes.
I love each day. Yeah.
Yes. Now let me ask you this too, like with the EVPs that we tend to get, they're always on a real low frequency. Do these
Right.
things come up on a low frequency?
No, I don't think so. No. Some of them are some of them are so clear and so plain. Generally, they're a lot clearer than EVPs. Some of the EVPs I've heard are hard to hear. You know, you got to really, really strain your ear. But a lot of these reversals are just so clear. There's just no mistaking them. For example, let me pull out a couple of really clear ones.
Okay.
Here's Angelina Jolie.
I grew up kind of very aware of my own emotions.
So she says, I grew up very aware of my own emotions, and backwards, I'm very aware.
I'm very aware.
I'm very aware. I'm very aware.
So I sure you'd agree. Very clear reversal, obviously not low frequency, just as clear backwards as it is forwards. And then let me pull up another real clear one too. Where are we? Which one will I play? I will play this one here. Newt Gingrich talking about a bad immigration bill.
It's an amazingly badly written bill.
Backwards, he says, the real bad bill.
A real bad bill.
A real bad bill. A real bad bill.
Very clear reversals, you know,
Right.
and obviously not low frequency, you know, and some of these phrases come out as clearer backwards than they are forwards, you know. So it's quite amazing stuff.
Boy, guys, when you're talking to somebody, watch what you're thinking.
That's right.
It's gonna come underneath
That's
there.
right. Yeah.
Wow. So when you get one of these, or you record something, how long does it take you to like you get the thing, you take it back to the lab to process? How long does it take to process one?
Okay, well, it depends on the recording. Reversals are usually occurring about once every 20, 30 seconds of speech. That's in a normal conversation. In media, they're a lot less. They're normally only once every 2 or 3 minutes in media. So you got to, you know, like to analyze a half an hour tape will take me 2 or 3 hours of work. You know, by the time you sort through all the audio, find all the reversals, throw out those that are dicey, you know, not good enough, you know, and about 2 hours. Was that the question you're asking me?
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, because to me it would be similar to EVP work, because you got to go through that, you know, and listen to the different sound levels and all that to pull the stuff out.
That's right. Yeah, it's a labor of love. You know, it's not an easy technology to learn. It's not an easy skill to pick up. I wish it was, but it's not. It requires a lot of work in front of a computer and with headphones on. I mean, I've tried so many different tricks over the years to help people learn it fast. Like, I've tried positive thinking. This is really easy. You can learn it real fast. Just sit there and put your headphones on. But then I soon realized that didn't work. So now I just tell people, look, you got to be prepared to put the time in. You know, it means hours and hours sitting at the desk with headphones on and finding those reversals. One day we'll have computers to find them for us, I hope. But we're not at that stage yet. Yeah.
Right. Why do you think that this hasn't been accepted by people?
Oh, that's a very good question. I ponder that question all the time. It's certainly not for lack of trying. I've submitted my work to numerous universities around the world. there's been a couple of universities who've repeated some of the blind testings I designed, and they got better results than I did. Which showed that the phrase could actually be heard and did exist, but then they wrote the whole thing off as coincidence, which I don't know how you can say coincidence, because they're occurring once every 30 seconds in direct connection to the forward dialogue. I mean, what are the odds of that occurring by pure chance? So there's been no serious scientific studies done yet into the field. I believe law enforcement agencies are using it. I lectured to the CIA and FBI back in '91 on reverse speech, and you can find my work if you Google CIA reverse speech. It will take you to my page on the CIA's website, where you can see about my research. I believe that they are using it, and I can't prove that. I can't validate that, but that's my belief anyway.
What has been the most shocking one that you found?
Oh, the most shocking one that I found. Gee whiz. Let me think. Probably, maybe shocking is the wrong word. Probably surprising.
Eye-opening. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let me. I know which one. I want to do this one here. Yeah, this is a real eye-opening one. It really showed me the power of reverse speech. This is JFK's inaugural address in 1961. So here's the forwards.
The slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world.
And backwards, head is hitting the car.
Head is hitting the car. Head is hitting the car.
You hear that? So what he is seeing is a premonition into his own death, because he was actually killed with a headshot to the car. Okay, in a car with a headshot, with a shot to the head.
Right.
So head is hitting the car is a premonition into his actual assassination. So that was a real eye-opening reverse.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that was a real eye-opening one. And I've got a few more like that too, where reversals seem to be predicting the future. Here's a fairly simple one. This is where is it? Where's the one I'm looking for? This one here. This is on George W. Bush, 2 weeks before America went into Baghdad.
Will help that nation to build a just government after decades of brutal dictatorship. The form and leadership of that government is for the Iraqi people to choose.
And backwards, we will sit in Baghdad.
Rather sit in Baghdad.
Rather sit in Baghdad. Rather sit in Baghdad.
And that's a future tense prediction. He intended to go into Baghdad. Okay. So yeah, I think the ability reverse speech has to peer into the truth, into the future, is one of the more amazing functions that reverse speech has. And so I'd say that's and probably one of the most shocking reversals I found would probably be this one here, if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see if I've got it here. Oh, I know where it is. This is another file. This is this reversal I'm about to play you is on let me see, just to make sure I can pull it up first. Is on the song Night Stalker, which was allegedly promoted Richard Ramirez to kill all his, do all his crimes. And unfortunately, I can't see it. Well, that's very annoying. I thought, oh, hang on, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh, I think that might be the whole song. No, that's the whole song. Okay.
Hey, wasn't it on the Beatles' White Album? The voice of John is dead.
I'm sorry?
One of the things on the Beatles' White Album, didn't it say John is dead?
On the Strawberry Fields, terming on Dead Man. We buried Paul is one of the messages. Here, let me pull some of them up for you. Hang on.
Okay.
Here we go. I can't find the other one. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah.
Beatles help. Beatles, hang on. Where are we? Beatles. Beatles. Oh, here we go. Paul is dead. All right, here we go. All right, so we've got a couple runs here. This is on the White Album. Sorry, Strawberry Fields. And right at the end of the song, there's a little message that says, "I buried Paul."
Okay. That's right.
Coming up now. Oh, where is it? Hang on. Here we go. Right there. I buried Paul. And then at the end of the song, "I'm So Tired," we hear a little bit of gibberish. This is "I'm So Tired." Right at the end there, you hear that? Hear that little gibberish there? You play that backwards and it says, "Paul is a dead man. Miss him, miss him, miss him." Very faint.
Right.
And then on the White Album, the phrase "number 9."
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
Reverses to say, "Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man." Anyway, so people started playing Beatles records backwards. They heard all these messages and were really freaked out, And then the fundamentalist Christians got on the bandwagon in the mid-70s, and they claimed, "Oh, this is all the work of the devil, and Satan's possessing the minds of singers to put his messages of drugs and sex out there," But of course, a lot of the lifestyles of the musicians back in the 70s was all about sex, drugs, and anyway, so to find messages about sex and drugs is not surprising, So,
Right. I just think this is all interesting because, like I said, I do the primary EVP work for my team.
Oh, okay, right.
And so I'm used to working with stuff like this, and you're right. It takes a lot of time to sort through that. And it's probably close to the same process I use for the EVPs.
Yeah,
to sort to get those. And like when you hear that stuff in the background, it's so low. I understand that because that's what those EVPs are too. And the problem with it, what people don't understand, is because it's so low in the background that if you try to bring it out, you'll blow it out.
That's right. Yes, you do. Yeah, you
so
do.
in a lot of cases, you have to leave it low like that.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Anyway, look, it's a fascinating field, and I absolutely love it. And I've been doing it full time for 40 years now. I don't research EVP, but I do find EVPs occasionally doing my tapes. They appear every now and then, and I document them and put them in a separate file. But certainly EVP is a valid phenomenon. I fully believe in it.
I'm just saying, it just sounds, what you're able to pull out in some of these sounds similar to what I get, doing it. So it's good. It's got to be a similar process, kind of,
It is a similar process, yeah. Yeah, let me see if I can pull my hands on some of my EVPs at the top of my head. Excuse the phone ringing in the background. I don't intend to answer it. I've got a separate file. I find EVPs as I'm doing my tapes, and I file them all. Here's one that says "Up went Bob."
The She-Hulk's a strong image for me still.
Okay, talking forwards and backwards, you'll hear a quick message that says "Up went Bob."
Into your life, and that is changing.
Oh, it's forwards. Sorry, it's forwards.
Since then,
right there, right in the middle.
Back in
since then, Up went Bob. So there you go. That was
That's
just something
cool.
something
That's
that
very cool.
came out of nowhere. Yeah, I got quite a few here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to look at next? How much longer do we have?
About 13 minutes. I have a question in the chat room for you.
Yes, go for
Does
it.
this happen when we are talking in general? If turning our words all backwards, would we hear this evil?
Okay, yes, it does happen while we're talking in general, and you will not necessarily hear evil backwards. A lot of reversals are actually have very quite profound spiritual messages. It's actually one of the misconceptions that this is all evil, and it was brought about by the fundamentalists, unfortunately, in their insane quest to demonize this whole field. Let the short time we've got left, let me just pull up some of the really nice reversals. I mean, okay, here we are. Here's me talking about reverse speech and where does it come from. Okay, so here's the forwards.
Sometimes people ask me, does reverse speech endorse any particular religion? And the answer to that is no. There are no deities or religions that reverse speech endorses or says this is right or this is wrong. It just talks about the soul and the endlessness of life. And that in itself is very powerful. Indeed.
And the reversal tells us where reverse speech is coming from. And it says, it's the voice in heaven.
This is the voice in heaven. This is the voice in heaven. This is the voice in heaven.
So rather than coming from the depths of hell, which people would like to think it is, it's actually coming from heaven itself. And here we have another nice one.
You know how the role of passing it on to your kids from what you've learned, and you bring them up the best you can, but you've passed traits on to them, and that's what it was. But
and this one says, our soul looks down in heaven.
Our soul looks down in heaven. Our soul looks down in heaven. Our soul looks down in heaven.
I see, they aren't all that bad. You know, we do have some nice ones every now and then. Here's a really good one. This is one of my students working with one of his clients.
Will likely get reversals that are pretty clearly from your unconscious mind, your subconscious.
And this one says, soul serve you, make you feel love.
Soul serve you, make you feel love. Soul serve you, make you feel love.
So as you can see, they aren't all that bad at all. You have some really nice ones, and the deeper levels, reverse speech gets down into all sorts of things about creation and manifestation, how our thoughts create our reality. It talks about what we call the power of the whirlwind. Let me play. I've got an absolutely wonderful verse about the power of the whirlwind. I was trying to find that the other day, and it had gone missing. And now I'm looking for it now, and I can't see it at the top of my head. How annoying! Where are we? Here's a nice one. Let me play this one.
With the feedback from the reversals that I've done with it, it's for me, it's not hard anymore. It's really lovely.
This one says, Spirit and the goddess will serve her.
Spirit and the goddess will serve her.
Spirit and the goddess will serve her.
So that's a nice one.
Spirit and the goddess.
Oh, sorry, I cut it off too soon. Let me play it one more time.
Spirit and the goddess will serve her.
Look, a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of the work that goes public is the evil satanic stuff. But I mean, that's just what the public wants. But in actual fact, it's a whole bunch of reverse speech is not about evil or satanic at all. It's about life and about the wonderful things. I mean, so like here's a really nice one.
I was just visualizing the whirlwind, visualizing the wolf like we used to do because we've done it before.
Absolutely.
And it just started bringing that power and that life force. And yesterday I was feeling absolutely fantastic.
And this one says, see yourself full with love. Give me whirlwind. And whirlwind is the reverse speech metaphor, refers to that universal force that surrounds the planet. It's similar to the Force in Star Wars. It's that same type of feel to it. So, but yeah, so there's some really nice reversals in there. I'm sure you'd agree.
Absolutely. So you actually teach people how to do this?
Yes, I do teach people how to do this. I've actually started a class this week. It's not too late to join in the class. If you're interested, just email me at backwards@reversespeech.com. That's BACKWARDS at reversespeech.com. I usually conduct 2 classes a year. Each class is six months long, and where I train people to be proficient at this. And I also have a very busy therapeutic practice where I work with clients with their issues using reverse speech, and get some amazing results. Yeah.
Where do you think people can best utilize this? What kind of career?
Oh, well, I personally use it in therapy. That's what I use it for. I have one of my graduates who set up a private investigation business using reverse speech. She contracts out to private investigators and law enforcement agencies. She has cracked many cases using reverse speech. So they're the 2 fields that it's being used in currently. Of course, it has applications in as many fields that you can think of. Politics, for example, who's lying and who's telling the truth. Advertising, if an advert doesn't work, it's usually because it's got negative reversals in it. So, there's just so many areas. In any situation where someone is seeking the truth and they're speaking on tape, reverse speech can be used.
I was just thinking when you said politics, if CNN and any of the news networks would ever use this, when people are speaking, that would be something.
That'd be something, but I don't think they would ever do it. Mainstream media is so biased towards Joe Biden, and the reversal they have on Joe Biden do not paint him in a good light at all. So,
Right.
Unfortunately, we give lip service to the truth in society.
Right.
But when it comes to actually finding out the truth, then no, it's a closed door, unfortunately.
What do you have to say to people who want to get into this?
Oh, wow. Gee whiz. I think it's the most exciting field you could possibly get into. You're researching the human soul and spirituality. I mean, what's more exciting than that? It won't be in my lifetime, but at some time in the future, it's going to completely change society. It means the truth is no longer hidden. No one can lie anymore. That's going to mean a huge quantum shift for civilization. It's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight. It'll be a gradual realization of the reality of reverse speech. I used to think it was going to be in my lifetime, but I realize as I get older, don't hold your breath. Yeah.
I bet, like you say, you presented this at the CIA. I can bet they're using it. They're just not telling anybody.
No doubt they're using it at all. I have no doubt whatsoever. None. None.
It'd be a tool to use. So what's next for you?
Oh, continue doing what I'm doing, really. I'm writing a lot of books lately. I've written 4 books this year so far. So I'm 67 now. I'm really driven with a passion to get my work out there. I'm doing a lot of education, a lot of radio shows. I really want to train students in the field, so I'm really pushing my training. But I'm just trying to do as much as I can to get the word out there. I mean, I'm doing your show. I do a lot of other shows. I did Coast to Coast AM last week. So I'm slowly getting out there.
Let me ask you something. This is a question I ask people every once in a while on these shows. I know there's other people that do this kind of work. Right. So let's say you're standing outside the strip on the strip at Las Vegas.
Okay.
And there's other guys out there as well that do this type of work.
Right.
How do you get people to come in to see your work?
I'm the founder. I discovered the whole field. If you want to know the expert, come to me. Easy answer.
Absolutely. The stuff you have is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
And go ahead.
I think it's pretty incredible too. I just wish more people would wake up to it.
It's something, boy. I'm gonna have to start figuring out how to play stuff backwards myself now.
It's addictive. Once you get started, you can't let it go.
I can see it being addictive. I can.
There it
But I
is.
want to thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're most welcome. My pleasure.
And I'd love to have you on again sometime to talk more about this stuff. This is fascinating.
Absolutely. Just send me an invite and I'll be on your show.
Sounds
Okay.
good. All right, John. Thank you.
No
Sorry,
worries.
David. I
My
said
pleasure.
John. I'm sorry. My mind's somewhere else. Thank you so much, David. I do appreciate it so much.
You're most welcome. Sorry you didn't have video, but I did try.
That's okay. No problem. You sound like
Okay.
Let me ask you about your computers. Do you go through computers a lot,
Yeah.
or do you have something with massive memory?
Computers. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so because you got all that audio on there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah,
All right, well, you
just
have a good.
I
Yes?
just had to update my hard drives. I had 5 terabytes. It's all full, so I just had to put another 5 TB on.
Oh, I can understand that. Even with ghost hunting, ghost hunters normally go through 2 or 3 computers every couple of years.
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Yeah, because there's so much data. All right,
All
so
right.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir. We'll speak to you next time. Okay, bye
All
bye.
right, thank you. Have a good evening. I mean, have a good day for you. Okay, bye bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, that was really cool. That was fun. If you guys missed the first part, check it out. Check it out. Check it out. Tomorrow now, remember, I'm going to be on at 9 a.m. Pacific because my guest is from England. So we're going on her time, which will be 5 p.m. her time. Her name is Louise Hamlin. And Louise Hamlin is a former attorney, very, very skeptical kind of person. And her ex-husband passed away. And she started getting messages from him. And she started to realize that there was something more after death. So she's written a book about it. So she's going to come on and talk about her experiences tomorrow. So she went from skeptic to believer. So we're going to be looking at that tomorrow. So that'll be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Pacific time. Now, I'm not a morning person, so it should be interesting to see what happens when I'm sitting in the chair. But I'm excited to talk with her. And of course, Friday is Nancy Matt's Friday, so we're going to be doing that. So I just want to give you guys a heads up about tomorrow. Anyway, if you're watching from Facebook, please hit that I'm tired tonight. Please hit that follow button. If you're watching from Twitter, please hit that follow button. And if you're watching from YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. There's that little ghost down in the bottom right-hand corner with the magnifying glass and the Sherlock Holmes hat on. Please hit that button, and that will subscribe you to all our videos. As you can tell, we don't always do paranormal stuff. We do stuff like this. We cover murder cases. We cover different things, different topics. So if you're interested in seeing what we have, there's like 270 videos sitting over there on YouTube. I think there's something for everybody sitting there. So be sure to check it out. And you can subscribe. And that way you'll get notified every time we do a show or before we do a show. All right? Anyway, thanks again for coming tonight. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I've been interested, like I told him, I've done EVP work for years and for the team. And so I know what goes into what he does. And a lot of these sound like the EVPs that we get as paranormal investigators. So now I'm starting to wonder about these things, about maybe after we pass away, if that is the part of our that subconscious thing with the speech patterns he gets, if that's not what survives beyond us, because these things sound like our EVPs. So I'm gonna have to really look into that, start researching a little more. Anyway, you see that thing flashing along the bottom? That's because California Haunts does not take any money to do any investigations. And to keep this show on the air and to do our investigations and keep our equipment up to date comes out of my pocket. I pay for it all. That means internet, computers, whatever else we use, EMF meters, whatever. I pay for it all. Even lodging when we have to travel. If you could help me out with that a little bit, that would be great. That's paypal.me at California Haunts. Or if you're uncomfortable with PayPal, Venmo, and just type in California Haunts. But I'd really appreciate it if you could. You guys have done really good. We're here 2 years. We're still here. Didn't think we'd be here this long, but we're still here. And that's because of donations from folks like you. and I really appreciate it. But anyway, I'm going to sign off because I have to be up here early tomorrow, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific. Have a nice evening.